Get ready for Flash Fried with your hosts, Paul Zigo, Scotty, and TJ Kirk. Hang on to your balls and your ovaries because it is time to get Flash Fried. Intro by Crafty Arts Show on YouTube.
Yeah, Crafty Arts Show on YouTube.
I love that intro. Get out of here, Crafty Arts Show. You making the cute DFF intro. Thanks for making me the idiot that juggles his titties, by the way. I appreciated that, Crafty Arts Show. I'm definitely the only dude here with big old man boobs, so it made sense that it was...
You had fucking surgery to remove your man titties, didn't you? Or reduce them?
I did.
So, I mean, TJ's really got the fattest man titties around.
Well, that was pre-surgery, Paul.
What?
That was pre-surgery, Paul.
Oh, pre-surgery. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's how that worked.
Yeah.
So probably the
Pre-op,
first
Paul.
thing to talk about here is Pessimist Productions Patreon PPP.
It's pretty crazy
motherfucker.
because
The PPP.
we're really close.
So as you guys can see, you guys know that our 24-hour show, which we're doing our 12-hour show this Friday, but our 24-hour show we'll do next month if we get over 3,000 patrons before that time.
As you guys can see.
Before the end of this month. And we're 15 away right now. So if you're on the fence, maybe get off that fence.
Yeah, hop off that fence and take a seat in the lazy boy over at the Pessimist Productions Patreon.
For 24 hours straight. I mean, you're already going to see 12 hours. That's already happened. That's set in fucking stone. This Friday.
Yeah, we're done. Yeah, it's
But
a done
24
deal.
hours next month. A mere 15 away.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be sexy.
You're right. It's only 15 patrons
dude.
away.
15 patrons away. If you know someone who should be a patron, but they're not, go to them, slap them in the face, and tell them to be a patron.
Hard, too. Not like a playful
Yeah.
slap.
Did you know, like...
Look them in the eye. Slap them hard. Let them know you mean business.
Dude, you know what's weird?
What?
It's weird that you're not fucking signed up for this shit. It's a
Tell 'em-
fucking feast.
Show them the buffet, TJ.
Show them the fucking buffet.
Show
All
them
right.
the buffet. In case they don't know. There's
In
the
case
buffet.
you don't know what you get when you sign up for our Patreon. Now, a lot of people might be like, we'll give you we'll give you a video every now and then. Bullshit!
Wrong.
You get every Friday show of Deep Fat Fried.
A fat
See,
helping.
Monday and Wednesday show are public. Friday show, that's patrons fucking only, bitch.
Exclusive.
That's only for these people. Why are you
Card
letting these people
carrying
have something that
pessimists.
you don't have? But that's not all. You also get a Abandoned Hope by yours truly.
Well, I mean, you know.
Last time
Something.
Paul joined me on it. Sometimes it's just me. Sometimes it's me and Paul. You never fucking know. What's always me and Paul is Cinema for Cynics.
Yep.
We always do those together. We do Cynics versus Cinema, which is a show where we watch terrible movies. Basically MST3K, but less clever and more stonery and more freak-outy.
Yeah.
know?
And prone to turn into crazy drunken debauchery sometimes,
Yeah,
too.
and occasionally more drunky.
Yeah.
I also got to update Counterpointless.
Yeah, we do.
Counterpointless, we changed the concept of that.
Counterpointless is a little different now.
We changed it, but whatever.
I think the people need another a private ideology.
Ideology, we've done 2 for them this month.
Yeah, we have.
Might need another helping, dude.
But you know what? Yeah, maybe the patrons do need another helping of ideology. But ideology is just when we come in and hang out with you guys and just talk to the chat and have some, real loose, informal kind of fun. And get mad at each other, and you try to piss us off, we try to piss you off.
We do some improv sketches.
Yeah, we do
and
some
shit.
improv shit. We make some crazy jokes. A lot of times it's a lot of fun. Sometimes it's kind of like it hits its highs and lows. I'll be honest, but
Well, yeah.
it's fun. And we do some exclusively for our patrons. Last time we did one just for our patrons, it was a higher caliber of ideology for sure. So, you get all of that. All that shit for the low price of $5 a month. And not to mention, you help us get towards all of these goals. Our next goal here being the 24-hour show with guests and spectacles.
I mean, that's
Once
like
we reach
that's
3,000.
like 12 hours worth of shit every month
At least.
for $5.
Yes.
You can't even go to an actual buffet and get into it for
And
$5.
don't forget, this Friday from noon until midnight Central Time, we will be doing our 12-hour show to thank the patrons for getting us to 2,000. And that's going to be public. That's going to be for everybody. That's going to be right here on this channel, streamed live the whole time. Failing
what?
some sort of
During
technical
that
issue
show-
or some shit.
During that show, the plebs better wash the balls of the patrons, dude.
Yeah.
Because it's because of them and them alone that they get this giant nugget of deep fat fried on Friday. They usually get shit on Friday.
They don't get nothing usually, but this time you're getting 12 hours
12
of shit.
fucking hours, dude.
We got some lists we're gonna build. We got some topics we're gonna cover. We got some. Maybe we'll check out a movie a la Cynics versus Cinema.
Arguments to be had.
We're gonna do all kinds.
Scotty
of
and I are
crazy
going to
shit.
brutally beat TJ to death. It's going to be fucking amazing.
It's gonna be
It'll
so great.
16-inch wooden baseball.
I was just going to use my shoe, honestly.
Well,
It's going to take longer, but
I figure we find one of those bats and beat him to death with one of those.
The shoe.
Especially since you never provided the bat.
You see this fucking frowny face? Turn that frown upside down.
nah,
Become a
keep
patron.
that frown upside down. Become a patron.
Become a fucking patron. All right. So, by the way, you guys notice our intro we had just now. There is a official Flash Fried intro submission thread over on the R Deep Fat Fried Reddit. This is the place where I'm really going to be looking for these. So submit them here if you got them. If you've made an intro and it hasn't been featured on this show yet, this is the place to put them so I can look at them and see what they're all about. And you might see your intro on Flash Fried at some point in the near future.
Have we wasted enough of these people's time, TJ? With your endless shilling?
Yes.
Your
Stop
endless goddamn shilling, TJ.
Well, I want to shill you now, Paul.
Oh, okay, cool.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, yeah, that's fine.
So this is a video Paul posted to his Twitter that explains our lock situation in this room.
Scammer Stevie.
So we have these two doors. You see those knobs there? They don't do shit. They don't turn. They're
They're
just
worthless.
decorative. These doors, they're supposed to just kind of lock into place when they're closed, and then a little pressure they open. One of them doesn't even lock anymore. And even when they did lock, any cat or dog that lived in this house could easily enter our little
Dude, if a
studio
fucking
here.
fly lands on one of these doors, it pushes it open.
Dude, you can fucking fart and this door would open, dude.
So we tell my brother Stevie, hey, Stevie, why don't you come on down? We'll give you some money, and you can install a couple padlocks for us. Not padlocks, but
latch.
little latches for us.
And before you ask, why didn't we do this ourselves? Because that's what Stevie does. He kind of does
Yeah.
handyman stuff.
Steve, yeah, this is Stevie's bread and butter here. But I ain't impressed. Because here's why. Check it out.
So Stevie got us this latch for the door to the studio so that the animals can't get in there. And
Every time, dude.
It's not even. You can just tell how little effort that was. To even do that.
I mean, I barely pushed it. That's why I started giggling, because I was going to go on and explain how it doesn't work. But it literally, I barely touched it, and it just... I was like, oh my God.
What's funny is we've had a box blocking the door, and it's still there.
Yeah, so we had him install this latch, so we no longer had to use a heavy-ass box of books to block the animals out of the room when we do the show. And now we've got both latches latched and the box of books in front of the door still. That's the best shit ever.
Stevie, come on, man.
Scammer Stevie, dude. Scammer Stevie.
It's a total scam, dude. It's a total
He's
scam.
a scammer. You fucking paid him for nothing.
Money for nothing, chicks for free.
Dude.
All right, so it's time to get into what people are here for, which is the news. It's time to let people know
News.
what
The news.
what the news is up
The
to.
nudes? You have nudes?
Hardcore nudes.
Nudes of the news.
Conservatives threaten Netflix boycott over Obama deal. I will read the Bible instead.
Doesn't sound as fun.
Why don't you go ahead and do that, huh? So apparently, the Obamas and Netflix are teaming up, and conservatives don't like it. Surprise, surprise.
Wait a minute, like what are the Obamas doing for
Some
Netflix?
conservatives are threatening to boycott Netflix after the streaming giant announced Monday it signed former President Barack Obama and former First Lady Michelle Obama to a multi-year development deal.
So probably like a reality show or something. Netflix exclusive.
Well, let's see. The Obamas are slated to produce a hodgepodge of content for Netflix, from scripted to unscripted series to features, according to news released from the company. So
Weird.
It's weird. We had a fucking guy go from reality star to president, and now we're having a fucking guy who's going from president to reality star. It's a interesting country we live in.
They're going to develop a lot of stuff. They said they even feature films, so I mean, like, looks like they're going to do a lot.
What's that?
I don't think it's just going to be a reality show. I think they're going to.
Well, it says they're going to do scripted and unscripted features. So
yeah.
So there's definitely going to be a reality component to it, but I don't know. Like, what is Obama going to like? Is Obama good at making movies?
I don't know, dude. You know,
I don't know.
He's Obama, so you know, what are you going to do?
Like, is he a good comedian or something? And we're just, like, he's kind of light on his feet and funny in that way.
Boycott Netflix though. I mean, just for this, it's like, who cares?
Irked by the news, commenters began flooding Twitter with the resurrected boycott Netflix hashtag. Some users shared Photoshop versions of the company's red, black, and white logo that read "Cancel Netflix" and "No thanks." People who claim to hold stock in the company, said they would be selling off their shares.
I'm a doctor. Those guys are also doctors, by the way, of whatever you're talking about.
Others took a more spiritual approach.
They have a fucking PhD in any subject.
So, Twitter user Daniel Quick said, "I'll read the Bible instead."
Go ahead.
Yeah, have fun with that.
Waste your time with that boring ass book of fucking nonsense.
Boosted by right-wing blogs, some of the more popular boycott Netflix tweets have garnered thousands of likes and shares. It's unclear.
You know what? When you see something like this just shows you how mindless people are. Because Obama signed a deal with Netflix, just like automatically, I hate it, I'm against it, boycott. Why don't you fucking think for yourselves, you fucking morons?
You know what the sad thing is, though? Is that nobody's actually boycotting. Like, all these people that are retweeting this shit aren't canceling their fucking Netflix. They probably retweeted this shit and then went and sat down and watched some Netflix. Because they're like, oh, well, other people will do it. I just, I don't want to give up my Netflix, so. It's so stupid. It's just such an empty fucking gesture. But whatever.
Crazy empty.
Yo, yeah, 125 million members in more than 190 countries. Yeah, you know what? Netflix is real fucking scared.
But some of those tweets had like 1,000 fucking likes on them.
1,000 people liked it.
Oh, look at this. What's more, the first Netflix boycott, which emerged after Rice was hired, fizzled, as did similar protests against Coffee King Keurig. So the right wing is not real good about these boycotts.
We're going to boycott it as inconvenient. Never mind.
The left wing seems to be better because I think they go after the right people. The left wing has figured out go after the advertisers directly.
Something went wrong while displaying this webpage.
Sweet.
Cool. Yeah, it was that webpage was like when I tried to scroll down, it was like laggy and shit. So I guess my computer can't handle that fucking webpage. Whatever. Wow. We pretty much discussed that anyway. Largo man broke into jewelry store, cut himself on glass, and bled all over everything.
And where did this happen?
Florida. I mean, I'm always sure to pull at least one or two crazy Floridian stories.
I mean, do you really even have to look for them? I mean, they're just.
It's not hard. I mean,
Florida man killed someone with the garbage can.
It's true. A Largo man was arrested Monday after police said he broke into the front door of a jewelry store and stole $10,000 in jewelry, but cut himself in the process and left blood all over the store.
Wow.
Yeah.
What a doofus. What a total fucking doof.
Oops, glass can cut you? I never knew.
Should have wore some gloves.
Police punch the display?
Police arrested, let's see if we explain, James Williams. Not James, but James.
James.
31.
Wasn't that the serial killer in Silence of the Lambs' first name?
I don't know.
His name was James Gum, wasn't it?
Maybe. 30
Fucking lotion in the bathroom.
on a charge of burglary. They found him a short distance from the scene of the crime, covered in his own blood.
Wonderful.
What a retard.
Officers said they were called to Silver Queen Jewelry Store in response to the burglary. There, they reviewed surveillance video that showed a man arriving on a black bicycle, leaning against a tree, and then destroying the glass front door to get inside. I'm assuming that's where he cut himself. Video also showed the burglar breaking into display cases by smashing the glass. I mean, he might have done it there too, and taking several pieces of jewelry. He then left the store and hid the jewelry in some bushes.
What?
What a fucking plan. This guy is not exactly Professor Moriarty, is all I'm saying. Officers noted there was a large amount of blood throughout the scene in the store from the defendant injuring himself on broken glass. Okay, this guy here is not a master criminal. I mean...
all he literally had to do was take a fucking hammer, and he would have avoided all of this.
Man.
Hammer and gloves, dude.
Yes.
Hammer, $5. Gloves, $3.
I mean,
There you go.
both free if you're smart and just find somebody that left some out in their backyard at night or some shit.
Yeah, I mean,
This guy obviously is not good at burglary, so...
this guy sucks at burglary.
Dude, some criminals just need to...
I mean, his
they need to go
plan was,
straight
after I steal the jewels, I'll hide them in some bushes. I mean,
and
you
bleed
know.
all over them.
Oh, I love at the end of the article, it's like, more bizarre Florida stories.
And it's just
What do you got?
Probably could be an endless list.
Florida man climbs atop playground equipment at Clearwater Park, tells kids where babies come from. Okay.
Awesome.
They got married on Clearwater Beach Sunday. They got drunk and arrested. Police said that's not, that could happen anywhere. St. Pete man gets drunk, falls off bike, hits man at hospital with folding chair, police say. What?
Sweet.
All right, I gotta click that. I'm sorry. Wasn't planned, but... What? Dude, he looks like that fucking... When that bitch tried to fix or restore that Jesus painting.
Yeah, he does. He looks like the bad Jesus painting. Pull it up.
I'm gonna do
You
it.
gotta find
I
it.
gotta do it.
He really does look like the bad Jesus. What happened to him?
I don't know. Hold on, I gotta fucking get
Jesus,
this.
dude.
Yeah, exactly.
He's the bad Jesus, man. What is it about? I mean, I know they have lax, like...
Here, while I'm looking for that, you guys
information
can read
laws in
some of the
Florida,
article here.
But it's just like, how does all this shit just happen in Florida? I don't even get it.
A 23-year-old man hospitalized Monday for falling off of his bike after drinking too much was arrested later that day after police say he struck another man with a folding chair at Bayfront Health Street.
He must have thought he was at a wrestling event or something, dude. He's like, I'm gonna fucking hit you with this chair.
Yeah. Oh, the steel chair!
Oh my god!
Jimmy McCrae faces a charge of battery, police said. The incident took place at 11 a.m. He's drunk and falling off his bike.
At 11. Oof.
Well, I mean, that had to be earlier. Because this was after they'd already gaffled him up. So he got drunk at like 9 a.m., goes out for a bike ride. Falls off his bike.
All right. Yeah, it works. It works.
It's him!
Hold on, let me make it a little smaller.
The bad Jesus, dude. What happened to you, dude?
All right, so I'll just have to alternate
Beautiful.
between the two. There he is. There it is. I mean, like, it's uncanny. I don't know.
What in the fuck?
They got the same expression and everything. I don't know, man. Oh, hideous. Amazon banning shoppers who return items too often.
This is retarded, dude.
Well,
I mean, I don't know how. I mean, like, because here's the thing.
Here's the problem. Amazon has so many third-party sellers that fucking rip you off. So imagine you get ripped off a bunch. You're buying shit. You're like, okay, I gotta be careful. But you're buying from people with good reviews, which is the only thing you can go off of.
Yeah.
And then Amazon says, oh, you know what? Nope. Can't return any more items, even though at this point you've been
Right.
scammed or you've been duped.
Well, another thing, though, about this is, like, Chelsea, my girlfriend who works at Starbucks, was telling me this story the other day about this woman who literally she comes to the drive-thru. First of all, she's pulled way too far away. So then you're like, you got to move closer to the fucking speaker. I can't even hear you. And she gets all uppity about that. But then she fucking finally does it. She orders 2 coffees with, all the whatevers. She pulls forward. And then she's like, you know what? I'm not sure. I don't really want those coffees. I think I want a Frappuccino. That looks interesting. And then they're like, okay, well, we already made the coffees, but okay, we'll give you a Frappuccino instead. And then they come with the Frappuccino, and she's like, you know what? I just saw this caramel Frappuccino. Could I get that instead?
You know what? Okay, so this is a
And
problem.
they're
with
like,
American
okay, well, let's
customer
go
service.
get you your caramel Frappuccino then.
You know what
and
you
she's like, you know
say?
what else I want? I want some chocolate croissants. And they're like, okay, here's your chocolate croissants. She's like, you know what? I didn't actually want chocolate croissants. I wanted regular croissants. So, like, there is a point of customers just being
Yeah,
ridiculous.
but what I'm saying is that that is clearly a case of someone that is just fucking just treating these customer service people like they're just peons or they're slaves.
I mean,
You know what those people should have said? They should have said at the point where she kept changing. It's like, look, ma'am, what do you want? Give us the exact order. And if he's like, ooh, it's going to be like that. No, why don't you just leave?
I've dealt with people like that before.
Because you work at Starbucks.
Yeah, I used to. Yeah, I mean, I've had people like this, and what you do is you tell them, I'm going to give you a few minutes to come. Or I'm going to give you about a minute to come up with your final order, so that we can get your order taken. Okay, and then I'll walk away. And when I come back in a minute, I say, what do you need? And if they try to add anything else, I tell them no.
Yeah.
And that's it. I mean, they just have to be told no. And some of them get pissed off and drive away, and some of them just buy the shit.
Great.
Wonderful.
Amazon's flexible return policy might not be as risk-free as you think. The company bans shoppers for violations which include returning items too often, according to the Wall Street Journal. Some users aren't told what they did wrong. Amazon boasts free and easy returns for many of its items, which has pushed many brick-and-mortar stores to offer the same policies as they struggle to compete with the e-commerce giant. But it turns out Amazon's return policies may come at a price. Dozens of people have taken to Twitter and Facebook to complain about Amazon closing their accounts without warning or explanation, according to the Journal. Paul Fidalgo wrote about being exiled from Amazon for excessive returns. Other people noted they had also been banned from the site for similar reasons. One customer tweeted a screenshot of an email from Amazon asking her to explain why she returned her orders. Here's this screenshot here. It says, hello, we have noticed multiple returns from your account in the past 12 months. You have also requested refunds or replacements for some items that you returned. We'd like to know how we can better support your shopping experience. Please reply to this email. Let us know why you returned your orders. Please learn more about our return policies and return blah, blah, blah. I mean, that seems like a pretty reasonable letter to me.
Yeah.
I mean, if someone is doing excessive amounts of returns, then yeah, I mean, it's not fucking out of fucking order to ask them like, hey, why are you returning so much?
Dude, I know a lady
It's
that
fine to ask them. I'd say. Like, I don't think there's anything wrong if they get flagged in a system, say, hey, why is this going on? But just to ban somebody, I mean, like, at the very least, they should just say your returns are limited unless you can actually show that there's something defective or wrong with the item. You shouldn't just return the item for no reason, like, oh, but I don't need this anymore, now I'm returning it.
I knew a lady back in my hometown who basically window shopped with Amazon because of their return policy. If she wanted to just like take a look at something and get a feel for how it felt and like look at the shit, she'd just order it and return it with no intention of ever keeping it. Do it over and over and over and over and over again for any product she wanted to fuck around with.
Someone
for a
like
day.
that should be. I support them being banned or basically said you can't return these.
I mean, you got to imagine there's a lot of those people out there.
So one customer
some
told
people like that. I think the discretion is there. You shouldn't fucking allow someone just to take fucking 10 orders a month and return all 10 orders.
All at the expense of your company.
At the expense of the company, exactly.
One customer told The Guardian in 2016 that he was kicked off Amazon after sending back 37 of 343 purchases.
And that
seems reasonable.
10% of the shit that you fucking buy, you're sending back.
I mean, but I mean the fact that he's ordering so much though. But I mean, I don't know. I've probably ordered, probably not near 343, but I've ordered, probably like 100 to 200 things on Amazon in the last year or two.
Also, I mean.
I don't think I've returned one thing.
The fact does remain that the reason they had to ban people is I believe with consumer laws they have to, if it's within a certain amount of time, accept a return. I mean, they might say, hey, you didn't return this item or part of the item or whatever, but stores like Best Buy try to say, oh, after this much time, you have this many returns left. But legally, stores I don't think can tell you, no, you can't return the item unless it's within a certain time period.
So apparently Amazon's return policy does not tell customers that returning too many items can get them kicked off.
Should.
Which it probably should let them know.
It definitely should if that's a rule.
Amazon, this is Amazon's statement on this. They said, we want everyone to be able to use Amazon, but there are rare occasions where someone abuses our services over an extended period of time. An Amazon representative said, we never take these decisions lightly, but with over 300 million customers around the world, we take action when appropriate to protect the experience for all of our customers. If a customer believes they've made an error, that we've made an error, we encourage them to contact us directly so we can review their account and take appropriate action. Okay, so basically just an empty bunch of prattling from Amazon, but
if we ban you, write to us and basically
maybe
please let me back, and they're not.
Maybe
going
we'll
to.
be reasonable. I don't know.
Dude,
I can see both.
I'm
sides
sure
of
there's
it.
people abusing this fucking system.
Think about how more abusive it could get, though. Like with Amazon Now being a thing, where you can just order it and 10 minutes later somebody drops it off at your door.
You kind of look at it like, hey, I don't want this. Take it back.
Well, no, but think about I need a screwdriver. I don't have one laying around the house. I go on Amazon Now and I order one of those bulk shitty screwdrivers that doesn't come in a package. Or even if it does, I fold the package down, I screw the screw back.
Yep.
And then I just send the fucking thing back. Amazon becomes like a household tool rental service at that point.
And everything else.
Yeah. Oh, I need to prune back my rose bushes, so I got a pair of garden shears. You know what? These didn't work the way I liked it. Trimmed my rose bushes back with them, and
there's clearly people like that, and there needs to be policies in place that the business can.
There needs to be a definitive standard of what this is.
Well, I'm saying there needs to be clear standards. The company needs to outline this to the people. Like they need to say, look, you're returning too many items. We want to let you know if you keep doing this pattern, we're probably going to ban you, unless you can show us a good cause. Like Paul said, if someone's just using this. And basically just using it as a showroom thing. I want to look at it at home. Okay, now I'm going to buy it elsewhere. I might end up keeping it if I really want it. But most times I'm just going to return the item. Yeah, those people probably are taking advantage of the service. But what percentage of people that use Amazon are doing that? Probably not a very high percentage.
Well, but no, I'm sure not a very high percentage are being kicked off for that reason either.
Yeah.
I bet the amount of money they're pissing down the drain to that type of shit is a lot, hence these changes in their policy.
Here's some local news for us.
Hey.
Plainly unconstitutional. New Orleans jail records inmates' calls to lawyers.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
Prosecutors in the city can and do listen in to conversations that elsewhere are seen as subject to attorney-client privilege.
Seen elsewhere? You mean the rest of America?
Yeah, okay, whatever.
What do you mean, the Philippines or some shit where they don't respect those laws? What are you talking about? In the U.S., that should just be a concrete right. You should not have someone listening in on your private, privileged conversations.
When Gerard Howard was arrested on suspicion of heroin possession in 2015, the New Orleans District Attorney's Office had a problem. The syringe he was found with came back from the lab with no illegal substances detected. Oops. How is that that's not a problem for the District Attorney's Office. That's just we'll cut this guy loose then. We have no evidence. But I guess that's a problem when you're just all about we need to put people in jail.
We mean with our for-profit prison system.
Prosecutors wanted to convict Howard on paraphernalia charges. Yeah, that's the problem. They shouldn't want to convict someone on shit. But there was no proof the needle was intended to be used for anything illicit, so they started listening to phone calls between Howard and his then public defender, Thomas Frampton. They found one throwaway but interesting line. Frampton asked Howard about his whereabouts in the jail system. Howard replied, after detox or whatever, they just moved me to a different building. With the word detox presented as context, and despite Frampton's pleas to the judge not to admit evidence he thought should have been considered privileged conversation between client and attorney, the prosecution got a conviction.
So more than likely this guy was a heroin user, but they didn't catch him with heroin, and they just had a needle that really could have been used for anything. Yeah, it was probably going to be used for heroin. However, they listened in on a conversation, which was the understanding of the conversation was there's attorney-client privilege that could not be admissible in a court of law. And, of course, the judge just said, nope, that's proof.
Here's what the lawyer said later. That trial was Frampton's first as a public defender in Louisiana, the only one he ever lost, by the way. That's pretty crazy for a public defender to have an unbeaten track record. It was a sobering introduction to the fact that some of the basic ideas we might have about the way the law works and the things you learn in law school or might assume from TV often aren't the way things operate in Orleans Parish, said Frampton. He now teaches law at Harvard. Cool. I mean, he's cool. This sucks. This is not good at all.
Yeah, this is horrible.
This is just like, wow, this is Gestapo level bullshit.
How is this going on? Like, how's the federal government not stepped in and been like, hey, you're in violation of these people's privileged conversation rights?
What's really interesting is that Orleans Parish, the prisons and the jail there have been under constant scrutiny for basically just being, inhumane conditions, overcrowded.
What's included in Orleans Parish? Like, where is that?
That's the parish where New Orleans is located.
So that's the French Quarter and everything?
Yeah.
Is in Orleans Parish?
I believe so, yes.
All the city is. A plainly unconstitutional situation.
It is.
It is common practice for jails to monitor and record phone conversations. It allows jailers to keep tabs on plots to move contraband or escape. But in New Orleans, prosecutors in the office of DA Leon Canizaro, who have no responsibility for how the parish jail operates, appear to have unfettered access to such calls. For years, this included all calls in and out, even if between a client and attorney. Pushed by CWN in 2017, Orleans Parish relented and agreed to let attorneys register landlines that would not be recorded, but cell phones are expressly not eligible for protection. It has been clearly established for decades that jail detainees have the right to confidential telephone calls with their attorneys, said David Fathy, director of the American Civil Liberties Union's National Prison Project. Damn liberal scum. To the extent that this is not happening in Orleans Parish or anywhere else, that is a plainly unconstitutional situation that needs to be remedied. Can you get on that? That'd be cool.
What are they supposed to do? Like, you know what I mean? That obviously people higher up are aware that this is going on. They haven't stepped in for a reason, probably because they like the idea of being able to record privileged attorney conversations and don't want to do anything about it.
Well, you showed right there in the example they used. This person was convicted based upon evidence basically derived from
during a privileged conversation with his attorney,
which is not even privileged in their view. That's the astonishing. They're trying to say that there's no attorney-client privilege if they make a call to the jail.
There's no attorney-client privilege over the phone, dude. It's
already been established. Like it's just Louisiana judges and people here ignoring legal precedents and just saying nope. And that's
listen to this.
Weird things about this state is
listen to this. Nandy Campbell, a private defense attorney in New Orleans, remembers negotiating a plea for a client only for the prosecutor to explain that he knew how many years the client would be willing to take because he had listened to his calls. That's when I completely cut off all calls, Campbell said. It was just too risky.
Wow.
Yeah.
Fucking ridiculous.
Oh, my God. New Orleans, get your shit together. So, Scott, you were saying something a minute ago.
I was saying the weird thing about the law in Louisiana is most of U.S. law is based on English common law, which is like precedent. So like this is the precedent. In Louisiana, it's weird because they have like mixtures of that and Napoleonic Code, which is that judges can make decisions they're not based on precedents. It's just really fucking weird.
Napoleonic Code.
I mean, the laws still apply here, obviously. Like, there was parishes in Louisiana or, clerks of courts that didn't want to issue marriage licenses to homosexual, gay couples. But obviously they were forced to because of the law. But they kind of made arguments based on that. Like, we don't have to abide by that because we don't personally believe it. We have, rights, freedom of speech and freedom of religion. And we don't believe this is, moral. So Louisiana's just a weird fucking state.
NFL teams will be fined if players kneel during national anthem. NFL players will be allowed to stay in the locker room during the national anthem, but their teams will be fined by the league if they go into the field and kneel, according to new rules adopted by owners on Wednesday in an effort to defuse an issue that escalated last season into a national debate catalyzed by President Trump. Players had previously been required to be on the field for the anthem. Commissioner Roger Goodell said that owners voted unanimously to rescind that rule and to fine teams if their players are on the field or sidelines but do not show respect for the flag and the anthem.
So basically...
mandatory reverence.
Yep.
Mandatory reverence.
Well, they can stay in the locker room, TJ, though. They have to have forced patriot. But this is clearly in response to the NFL's ratings going down and people boycotting because... of the fact that players were kneeling, and now it's like, well, now you can't kneel.
Yeah. Now most of these players ain't going to take a cut and pay to make a political statement. They're just going to stay in the locker room if they want to do that. So,
I believe they can. I believe there's also like a new 15-yard penalty that'll be assessed as well.
Really?
For not respecting
an actual game penalty?
Yes, the not respecting the flag. It doesn't say it here, but I've read it elsewhere that there's going to be a 15-yard penalty.
Lack of patriotism, number 32 of the offense. 15.
Disrespecting the flag, 15-yard penalty.
Yeah, what?
What a stupid country. Fuck Donald Trump for making this an issue. Fuck the NFL for caving into the issue.
Failure to engage in meaningless jingoistic nonsense. It's going to be a 15-yard penalty, first down.
And we're going to be fining your team as well.
Have Trump be the ceremonial referee to throw the first penalty flag for it.
Yeah, man.
Just silly.
So I thought you guys should know about this update to this retarded situation.
Man, it sucks to have to be on the side of asshole football players because I really don't give a shit. But
I mean, hey,
when they're right, they're right.
Sometimes the asshole you don't like is the one who's right, so you gotta fucking take their part. But here's another weird one. Families of Sandy Hook victims, FBI agent filed defamation lawsuit against right-wing radio host Alex Jones.
They don't want you to know the truth. They're trying to silence the truth.
Here's what they're saying. 6 families of victims killed in Sandy Hook elementary school mass shooting, as well as an FBI agent who responded to the scene, filed a defamation lawsuit today against radio personality Alex Jones, who has repeatedly called the shooting fake. The lawsuit accuses Jones, a staunch gun rights advocate who operates InfoWars, a website that routinely propagates conspiracy. We all know what that is.
Right.
We know
20 children and 6 educators died. Yep. Okay.
Allegedly.
While the nation recoiled at the terrible reality of the shooting at Sandy Hook Elementary School, Alex Jones saw an opportunity, the family's attorney Josh Koskoff said. He went on a sustained attack that has lasted for years, accusing shattered family members of being actors, stating as fact that the shooting itself was a hoax and inciting others to act on these malicious lies.
We know what he's going to say, because didn't he say it in his divorce thing? Oh, this is performance art.
Oh, yeah.
I am a performer.
I am a performer.
The plaintiffs are the parents of 4 children killed at Sandy Hook, Jacqueline and Mark Barden, parents of Daniel. Okay. So it's all these people are
parents.
involved.
Look at these crisis actors.
As a result of, I want to know how much they're suing him for. As a result of Jones' campaign, the families in Oldenburg said they have been forced to endure malicious and cruel abuse at the hands of ruthless, unscrupulous people. Their lawsuit also names Wolfgang Halbig, a Florida man who founded the now defunct website Sandy Hook Justice. His associate Corey Sklanka.
That was one of Paul's best rants ever. Remember that fat dude? I don't know what you called him.
Yeah, I don't remember either. But
he's one of these people that believes this shit. And it's like,
I wish that he was in the lawsuit.
Yeah,
too.
the $25,000 thing of, no, if you could show me a dead body.
Oh, Kinky Joe.
Yeah, Kinky Joe, dude.
Yeah.
But the sad thing is, Kinky Joe is he's just a nobody. Alex Jones is just doing this for profit. 'Cause he knows there's a bunch of idiots out there that believe shit like this. It's all fake.
I mean, I don't know. Where do you guys stand on his right to say whatever he wants?
Traditionally, the First Amendment has offered broad protections for things like this, and defamation in America is very difficult to prove because you can't just prove that someone's stated something that wasn't true. You have to prove that they knowingly and maliciously lied.
Right.
That he knows that Alex Jones knows damn well that this happened. And I think he does.
A case. I think they actually might have a case.
But I think
I'm not saying it's certain.
They might even be able to take that thing of him being like, "This is all performance art," and say, "Hey, you saying this is all performance art means you know that what you're saying is bullshit."
Right.
That might actually come up against him. Rather than as a defense.
I mean, they're going to have a very sympathetic judge or jury. I don't know how the case is going to be tried.
I mean, it's going to be the families of dead children versus a shock jock fucking supplement slinging piece of fat conspiracy theory
they have been
shit.
Harassed and inundated with shit primarily due to people like him.
But the First Amendment has I mean, it's pretty fucking strong when it comes to this kind of shit. I mean, we had. I mean, me and Paul. We just the other day we were watching The People versus Larry Flynt, which that case was about something similar to this, where Hustler magazine published that article about
that
Jerry
case
Falwell.
it was not in any way similar to this.
No, it's pretty similar.
No, it was not.
It was because once again you have a publication, a controversial publication, publishing false information about somebody, saying that Jerry Falwell had sex with his mother in an outhouse and was...
Jerry Falwell was a public figure.
That's true, but
these
people
are private figures.
These people are public figures as soon as they're in the national spotlight because of this fucking tragedy.
No. They don't live as public figures. They're not career public figures.
I suspect that Alex Jones
these people are private individuals who are the result of a tragedy that got happenstantial news coverage because of the tragedy.
Right.
That were then placed under duress by Alex Jones. So like
for profit.
Because if you're in your example, Alex Jones is Larry Flynt.
Right.
That's not what's going on here. Larry Flynt was sniping at fucking Jerry Falwell for political reasons.
Right.
Because he was
was another
public
is Alex
figure.
Jones though.
Right, but he's not sniping at a public figure. He's sniping at private individuals due to a tragedy. Not some absurd claim that he fucked his mother in an outhouse.
But the event itself was national news. So he could just make the case, I'm just commentating on a national news story. I'm saying what I believe. And I mean, really, if you got to win a defamation suit, you got to prove he's lying. You got to prove that you'd have to have something of him saying somewhere like, well, I know this really happened or whatever. And I think he actually might have said that.
He's made so many
when he rescinded it, but I mean, like he's all over the place.
Contradictory statements.
I mean, the problem is the First Amendment broadly does protect stuff like this. I suspect that Alex Jones will not lose this lawsuit. It'll probably be settled out of court, honestly.
Probably.
I suspect that if a judgment is rendered, I think it'll probably be in Alex Jones's favor.
I mean, maybe.
But I'm no legal expert, so
I think that they at least have a chance. I mean, and for most defamation cases, that's not even the case. Most people that bring defamation lawsuits, they're just dismissed.
I certainly think that he deserves to fucking lose the lawsuit. I just don't know if that's how the law will see it.
Falwell was a fucking power broker too. You got to remember.
Yeah, that's true.
This was like, like these people don't have fucking political
These people are only in the news because their kids were murdered.
Yeah, their kids were horribly murdered at school.
Alex Jones's attorney could frame it as like, okay, well, it's not he'll take them out of it probably and focus more on the story itself and say, oh, well, look, this event has been used as a political tool by some people to try to push for gun legislation. Alex Jones is simply pushing back against that. And that's how I'd frame it, I think.
Well, if yeah, I'm
It'd
sure
be interesting to see.
But
Premature,
if he doesn't believe the event happened, then why does he even care? You know what I mean?
Well, because he thinks it's a false flag. Well, he doesn't. I mean, he probably doesn't actually think anything of
that's what I'm saying about Alex Jones. Like Alex Jones, the only reason Alex Jones is doing this is for profit.
Right.
He's just a con artist.
I agree with that. Premature birth rates drop in California after coal and oil plants shut down. Within a year of 8 coal and oil-fired power plants' retirement, the rate of preterm births in mothers living close by dropped, finds new study on air pollution.
Weird.
It is interesting.
It's almost like that had an effect. Shutting down power plants that burn fossil fuels can almost immediately reduce the risk of premature birth in pregnant women living nearby, according to research published Tuesday. Researchers scrutinized records of more than 57,000 births by mothers who lived close to 8 coal and oil-fired plants across California in the year before the facilities were shut down and in the year after when the air was cleaner. The study, published by the American Journal of Epidemiology, found that the rate of premature births dropped from 7 to 5.1% after the plants were shuttered.
Wow.
Between 2001 and 2011.
That's significant. That's a significant
The most
drop.
significant declines came among African Americans and Asian women. Preterm birth can be associated with lifelong health complications. So I just think it's interesting because there's a lot of people out there who act like these sorts of things don't have an effect on human beings.
Matter.
I mean, this is just one effect.
Dude, TJ, you remember yesterday we were watching that new tech products shit.
Oh, yeah.
And they've got this, I can't remember what it was called, but they've got this fucking
It looked like a fucking Bane mask.
You know how people are wearing those fucking cloth masks over their face now? Well, this is like a plastic mask with fans in it and a filter. And it's got a glass thing in the front so you can still see people's faces. And I was looking at it and I was like, you know what? Something like this, people are probably going to be wearing this in major cities in 20 or 30 years. Everywhere.
Yeah.
Like, that's how fucked up our planet is due to the shit we've pumped into the atmosphere. We can't even walk around and breathe the air anymore without getting sick.
And it's funny how people criticize, these kinds of actions, like in the state of California especially, because California is the liberal paradise. But you're already seeing positive benefits for this. And I mean, yeah, it is more costly maybe in the short term. In the long term, is it really more costly? I don't think so.
I mean, this is a drop in the bucket.
I mean, having a polluted environment, of course, isn't going to solve the problem. But having a horribly polluted environment has much greater cost. I mean, besides economics, the health cost.
Yeah, just think of the cost of people just going to the doctor all the time with upper respiratory infections.
Dude, look at these places. It's like when they banned lead in gasoline. Like, it was a big deal because and it was like, oh, well, it's just in cars. It's like, no, it's everywhere. It's because there's all this lead's being pumped out. Kids are having all these problems with lead, the lead paint that we had in the U.S. for years.
Oh yeah, dude.
People be exposed to lead. And
people are still kids are still in shitty neighborhoods in this country, living in places, growing up in places with lead-based paint.
Asbestos.
Here, I found it, Paul.
Oh, you found the fucking mask thing I was talking about?
Yeah, I mean, I found a bunch of other ones too, but this one is a more technological take on it. Here you go.
It's a look into the future, dude. So it's got two it's a USB chargeable. It's got two low power fans on the side that drag air through to keep it from getting hot in there. Because you'd think immediately, like, oh man, if I'm breathing into this thing, it's just going to be all muggy. But the fans pump, the air out, keep it nice and fresh in there for you. And it's got the glass plate on the front, so you don't lose your ability to communicate as a human. You can still see facial expression.
Wonderful, dude. Yeah, here's the future.
Yeah, this is what you have to look forward to. Everyone walking around with this dorky shit on their face.
Like, yeah, we're gonna be astronauts on our own planet before long, just bouncing around like. Howdy, Bob. Heading to work now. 212 degrees. Pretty balmy today. It's like, fuck.
Boiling oceans.
Google drops "Don't be evil" motto.
Good, because they ain't been following it.
That meeting was probably pretty interesting. Guys, let's be honest. We're evil. Come on.
Am I evil? Yes,
Don't be
I
evil.
am.
The three words that have been part of Google's motto for the last 17 years also encapsulate how much Silicon Valley sees itself doing what is right and just, but a bit edgier than the previous stodgy titans of capitalism. However, the ubiquitous search engine has now removed "Don't be evil" from its official code of conduct. According to it's too limiting, way too limiting. According to a Gizmodo report, who used the Wayback Machine to check timestamps, and at some point between late April and early May, references to the slogan in the document were removed except for one brief mention. A version of the code's preface archived on April 21st opens with the two paragraphs. Don't be evil. Googlers generally apply those words to how we serve our users, but don't be evil is much more than that. Yes, it's about providing our users unbalanced access to information, unbiased.
Except in China.
Sorry, I accidentally said the true thing.
Yeah.
Focused on their needs and giving them the best products and services that we can. But it's also about doing the right thing more generally, following the law, acting honorably, and treating coworkers with courtesy and respect. I can see why they dropped this.
Yeah.
I can see why they're like, you know what, we don't live up to this shit.
This is a hindrance.
I mean, even Google was like, this is just too hypocritical even for us.
We're not doing that.
They should have just dropped the first word, and it would have been more accurate.
Yeah, be evil.
The "Don't be evil" ethos originated with Google's employees back in 2001 as a way to express the company's values succinctly without sounding like corporate boilerplate. However, now Google has become the massive, powerful, evil company that its first employees may not have envisioned. I added the evil there. The tech company is under fire from regulators and a range of critics, with some calling for it to be broken up. U.S. Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin recently urged the Justice Department to review the power that firms like Google have over the American economy. All right, I'm sure that's going to do a lot.
How about we review the power that the American economy has over our political players? How about that?
That's even better.
What?
How about we have a review of that?
Oh, don't worry. I mean, Google's a multi-billion-dollar company, so they'll just lobby away all these problems. they'll just send more lobbyists, and suddenly there's not a problem with Google anymore. Just like with the oil companies, just like with the pharmaceutical companies, just like with all these other companies. You think there's a problem, and if people all around you are telling you there's a problem. Oh, these people are going bankrupt, and these people are dying, and these people can't afford to fucking pay their rent, and there's all this, and income inequality is rising, all these problems going on. Oh, really? Oh, let's go to Washington. Oh, wait, actually, guys, these lobbyists all came here and told us there's no problems. Everything's fine.
It's all good.
It's all good.
Pakistani girl who died in Texas shooting wanted to experience American culture.
Well, she got it.
Yep, she got what she
I'm
wanted.
sorry to be blithe about it, but she got a taste.
She honestly did, unfortunately.
Yeah, there you go. American culture strikes back. Sorry you had to fucking get shot.
Experience one of the worst elements of this fucking culture.
You asked for it though. You know, it's like a Wishmaster thing. You know,
but you know what's fucking
Pakistani
funny?
girl's like, I want to experience American culture, and then she gets shot.
You know
in
what's
Texas.
funny about this is that you heard this, that a Pakistani girl gets killed in Texas. I mean, isn't that just like the people in Texas be like, Pakistan's a shithole? Yeah, but she had to come to your fucking state to be murdered.
Yep.
Moron.
She was one of the ones killed in the when the Texas gunman opened fire in a high school on Friday. Sabika Sheikh, who was in the U.S. under a foreign exchange program and wanted to experience a new culture, had often talked about becoming a diplomat in the future.
Not anymore.
No longer.
All of your dreams are
Some
destroyed.
piece of shit decided to fucking gun down a bunch of people for who knows what fucking reason. Doesn't even fucking matter.
Dude, I hate to say this, but at this point, you got to say it. Foreign people, if you're like as appalled by this constant school shooting shit that's happening over here as we are, don't send your kids here anymore on foreign exchange.
Yeah,
Don't do it.
No.
America is not safe.
We cannot vouch. In fact,
We
you
cannot
might want to think
guarantee your
about not
safety.
coming here at all. Because we can't vouch for your fucking safety here anymore. We're a bunch of gun-toting retards. And you know what? Maybe hitting us in the tourism dollars will finally get us to change something about it. Maybe when people stop coming here because they're afraid they're going to get shot at, which is a total plausibility if you're coming here, by the way. Make no bones about it. Like, if you're coming here and you're going to L.A. or San Antonio or New York City, there's a decent chance you're going to get drilled.
Speaking of L.A., we're having a meetup there. So
Yeah. I mean, we already live here, so what are you going to do?
I mean, yeah, we have no choice. We're Americans, so it's just par for the course for us.
We'll talk more about that on the Friday show, though. Most Americans don't realize Robert Mueller's investigation has uncovered crimes. 17 indictments and 5 guilty pleas so far.
He's on to nothing.
But you want to know why?
All right, here we go. Let's just look at these polls.
Well, here's the thing. The only thing that anyone cares about is Trump going to be indicted.
Right. As you may know, this is what they were asked. As you may know, there is currently an investigation going on right now into Donald Trump's 2016 presidential campaign and any Russian government involvement in the 2016 election. How much have you heard about this investigation? Heard a lot, heard some, heard a little, heard nothing at all. 3%. So.
Who's fucking 3%, dude?
To the best of your knowledge, has the investigation uncovered any crimes? 59% say no.
Nope. Nothing
Oops.
Wow.
So here's a list of crimes that have been uncovered.
Here's the list, okay, just so you know. Michael Flynn, former national security advisor and key Trump campaign surrogate, pleaded guilty to making false statements to federal investigators in December.
Ooh.
Rick Gates, a top aide on the Trump campaign and longtime business partner of Paul Manafort, pleaded guilty to false statements and 1 count of conspiracy. George Papadopoulos, a foreign policy advisor on the campaign, pleaded guilty to false statements. Alexander van der Zwaan, a London Dutch attorney, pleaded guilty to making false statements about his contacts with Gates and the unnamed Ukrainian.
I'm assuming that most of this is because lying to the FBI is a crime.
Yeah, probably. 13 Russian nationals and 3 Russian companies have been indicted on conspiracy charges and some on identity theft charges related to Russian social media and hacking efforts. Richard Pinedo, a California resident, has pleaded guilty to an identity theft charge related to the Russian indictments. Paul Manafort, Trump's campaign chair, is facing 2 separate indictments, one in D.C. about conspiracy, money laundering, false statements, and failure to disclose foreign assets, and one in Virginia about tax, financial, and bank fraud charges.
Hey, guys, remember? Drain the swamp.
Yeah.
Looks like Trump just fucking brought this fucking swamp with him.
I mean, the swamp is getting drained. It's just not by Trump.
It's getting drained by fucking
It's getting
Robert
drained
Mueller.
and then re-fucking filled, dude.
Wow.
Give me a fucking goddamn
And 59% of Americans don't even know that anyone's been arrested or indicted on anything.
Yep. And well, just look at like Fox News. The drumbeat on Fox News is this is a bullshit fucking investigation.
Witch hunt.
Witch hunt.
Witch hunt.
Oh, is that Sean Hannity?
17 indictments and 5 guilty pleas. It's a witch hunt,
Dude.
though.
Oh
my God.
Dude, every time I see Sean Hannity on Fox News, just the same thing. There's no evidence of anything going wrong. Nothing happened. It's like, nothing happened, then why are all these people going to fucking jail?
Dude, I think Sean Hannity should honestly just have Trump stand off camera a little bit with his big old orange dick out and just poke it into frame and let Hannity blow him for the fucking half-hour Hannity show.
Oh, dude, they're good buddies, dude. He talks to Sean Hannity all the time. It was interesting to learn that that Sean Hannity was actually one of the only clients of I think it was Michael Cohen.
Yeah, the only other client for the last few years.
That's the funny thing too is Hannity was covering the Michael Cohen story as a journalist as it unfolded without disclosing.
Oh, by the way,
I happen to be a client to this guy, so you might not want to take what I'm saying
Sean
seriously.
Hannity actually has massive real estate holdings in this country. He's like a huge landlord.
Deputies, Florida man, there he is again, bit his dog to establish dominance.
Hey, man, sometimes you got to show him.
Nothing to see here, just your everyday average man bites dog story. Florida man Patrick Sherrod Campbell, 27, was booked Thursday in Palm Beach County's main detention center. Sheriff's deputies said he abused his dog, Dimitri. You disappoint me, Dimitri.
Oh, yeah.
Authorities received a complaint about the abuse after a 911 caller reported hearing slamming noises from Campbell's apartment. They said the noise was caused by Campbell disciplining the dog, adding that he beat the hell out of him. This guy sucks.
You beat the hell out of your dog? For what fucking
What a piece of
reason?
shit.
So fuck this guy. He should never be allowed to have a dog again. He should go to jail for a few years. Robot submarines finds holy grail of shipwrecks with up to $17 billion in treasure.
Cool.
Yeah, man.
They found that much. They should give me some, dude.
A 310-year-old Spanish shipwreck carrying treasures that might be worth up to $17 billion.
Might.
Yeah, was discovered with help from an underwater robot. It's called the Remus 6000, and it can dive nearly 4 miles and is loaded with sensors and cameras. Wow. Bronze cannons confirmed the holy grail of shipwrecks had been found at the bottom of the Caribbean Sea. They are engraved with dolphins, a telltale sign they belong to the Spanish galleon San Jose, lost more than 300 years ago.
Oh, shit.
So cool. Got some cannons. There's probably all kinds of crazy shit in there. But can we actually get the treasure? That's the question. Because being able to send something down with a camera is one thing. Is it actually reachable? That's what I want to know.
I mean, I'm sure they can use that submersible to hook up some cables and drag some of the bigger things
I'm sure
up.
they're gonna fucking try, dude. If there's that much fucking shit down there.
Fuck yeah, they are.
Yeah, that's crazy.
A Spanish galleon, it's probably loaded with fucking rare fucking.
If there's actually
gold and
$17 billion in treasure sitting
Someone's
on the
gonna-
floor,
yeah, someone's
it
gonna
will
go
be
get it.
gone.
Yeah, someone's gonna find a way to get that shit, dude. I promise you.
Yeah, some cockroach is gonna find a way to get down there and get it.
I wish it was me. Kim Jong Un said to be worried about North Korea falling to a military coup while he's rubbing shoulders with Trump in Singapore.
I don't blame him. Everything that I've heard about like Kim Jong Un's tenuous grasp on power in that country is that it's like a constant battle for people. Like, you know, like the military is one arm and he's the other arm. There's like a constant war between them for dominance. So I don't blame him. It might be a good time for them to do it.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's a country. That's why all this shit is like cult of personality. He's from this divine family. You know, you have to have this sort of like this image in place because you have to have at least enough of the populace believing that. Otherwise, the military can just do away with him. And that's also why there's a lot of like, you know, it's kind of like Game of Thrones. You know, it's like someone it challenges his power and then they're fucking disappeared. You know what I mean?
It says here, Kim is apparently concerned that the trip to Singapore may leave his government vulnerable to a military coup or that other hostile actors might try to depose him. Sources told the Post. The Kim dynasty has ruled North Korea since the country's inception following the armistice in 1953.
Kim Il-sung.
So that might be another reason why he's kind of dragging his feet now. But I don't know. it's kind of hard to know what goes on in this country at all, let alone what's going on in this fat fuck's mind. I mean, just look how fat he is compared to everyone else around him. Like, look at all these gaunt, slender faces and then this big fat balloon of a man.
He's got a wand. He's a wizard.
You're a wizard, Kim.
Well, you ever watch anything about the inside of North Korea, dude?
I
like,
have, yeah.
Like, they'll have, like, stores in North Korea. It's like, I want to buy something. It's like, no, can't buy anything at the store.
Is he teaching his dudes defense against the dark arts right now?
Swish and flick.
Wingardium Leviosa.
Take notes, you bastards.
Anyway, so just we gotta get through these other stories kind of quick, but this is just a Canadian forest, some trees as wide as like 6 to 9 feet wide being chopped down, deforested.
They're
and
basically
shit.
cutting down the old growth, like
Old
the
growth floor, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, they're really old
Trees
Cutting
that
down a bunch of shit.
probably won't come back until we're gone.
Yeah, long after.
Yeah, long dead, dude.
Man mistakenly runs full Fargo marathon instead of half. How did this go?
Cool.
Mike Kohler lined up with thousands of other runners inside the Fargo Dome here on Saturday, May 19th, ready for his first half marathon as part of the Sanford Fargo Marathon. It would be a big step for the 26-year-old plumber and pipe fitter from West Fargo who ran 10K last year and 5K the year before that. But a misstep right from the start put him on an even more difficult course. Nervous and tired from waking up earlier than usual, Kohler wasn't paying full attention. He thought the full and half marathon started at the same time at 7 a.m. In reality, the half marathon started 15 minutes later. Wearing headphones, Kohler wasn't listening to the starting announcement, so when they said go, I went, he said, reminiscing about the day. Just outside the Dome, at the intersection of 19th Avenue North and University Drive, Kohler turned north following the marathon pack. Half marathoners were supposed to go south. Kohler started getting suspicious after seeing course markings that said full marathon only.
Suspicious.
Yeah, I mean, when
you just realize, like,
at that point, it should be more than a suspicion. Like, oh shit, I'm doing the wrong thing. He wondered whether the two courses would converge and half marathon markings would appear. It says full marathon only, dude. I mean, that's pretty whatever.
What other clue did you need?
But he ended up running the whole marathon, and I guess he did it.
Dope.
So, it just shows he was capable of more than he thought. So it's kind of a little inspirational story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You never know what you're capable of until you're put in that position.
Until you retardedly put yourself in that position because you ignore all signs that you're doing the wrong thing.
That's pretty awesome.
It's
that's it.
pretty great. I mean, there's nothing more to say about it. Just, Berlina Wallace jailed for life for a sadistic acid attack on Mark Van Dongen. Dongen.
He's got an absurd name, but dude, the fucking...
A woman has been jailed for life after being found guilty of a sadistic and evil acid
this is
attack.
A horrible attack.
That left her former partner with such terrible injuries that she was driven to euthanasia. Jesus Christ.
He was driven
to euthanasia. Sorry.
Dude, I know you hear acid attack, you think like acid in the face, like you've heard, but like when you read the description of this acid attack, it's
Berlina Wallace threw sulfuric acid over Mark Van Dongen in a fit of jealousy and rage after he began a relationship with another woman. Wallace was told she would have to serve 12 years minus time she spent on remand before she could be considered for parole. Outside court, the victim's father, Kees Van Dongen, said that the minimum term was not long enough and argued she should never be released. He said, I am pleased she is going to be locked up for 12 years, but really this is too little, as we as a family have been sentenced for life. I hope she messes up and doesn't ever come out of prison again. There are only losers in this case. This has completely ruined our lives financially and as a family. Our home has fallen apart. I hope we could start to pick up the pieces and rebuild. Senior investigating officer D.I. Paul Catton said, the sentence, which I believe is the first life sentence handed to someone involved in an acid attack, reflects the gravity of the crime Wallace committed. Her refusal to accept responsibility and the horrendous consequences her actions had. Is there more of a description here somewhere?
Yeah. If you go down, basically the part where he decides to be euthanized. He couldn't do it. I think this happened in the UK, or where did it happen?
Belgium.
Well, no, Belgium.
He was euthanized in Belgium.
Yeah, he was euthanized in Belgium, but I think this happened in the UK, right?
She said, you chose your moment for the attack. It occurred when Mark Van Dongen, wearing only boxer shorts, was asleep in bed, which you had shared in your flat. Vulnerable, almost naked, he awoke and had no real opportunity to avoid the focus of your acid attack, namely his face and body. Davies said the doctors in Belgium had concluded Van Dongen's case was a case of unbearable physical and psychological suffering despite maximum medical support. So basically, morphine and shit ain't touching it. But she said she was not sentencing Wallace on the basis that as a result of his injuries, Van Dongen chose to end his life. I do sentence you for the harm which you inflicted, the catastrophic and life-changing injuries, 15 months of acute physical and psychological suffering, she said. The judge said Wallace had carefully plotted her defense, that Van Dongen had poured the acid into a glass on her bedside table even before the attack.
Yeah, whatever.
Blah, 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 blah. A spat of acid attacks have led the government to move to reclassify sulfuric acid. I don't want...
Go back down. I found one.
Yeah, I'll say it.
Go back up. Shit. Van Dongen's face and much of his body were severely scarred after the attack. The acid burned through 25% of his body's surface. He was paralyzed from the neck down, lost most of his sight, and his lower left leg had to be amputated.
Yeah, that's why because I read this article beforehand.
See, that's why I don't want sulfuric acid to become a thing.
It actually has become more regulated there. If you
I don't want it.
You go to the bottom
Yeah.
of the article, it actually talks about that.
This?
Yeah.
These crimes are unacceptable and the government is taking action to bring them to a stop. Our recent change to the Poisons Act means that from July, members of the public must hold a valid home office license to acquire, possess, or use the acid used in this attack.
Good
idea.
Yeah. I think
Can we do that here, too?
Dude, what about responsible acid owners? Why should all the responsible acid owners be punished just because... All right, you get what I'm going with this.
Yep.
No, we know. We know.
We know,
the acid
TJ.
didn't hurt the people.
Acid doesn't kill people. People kill people. Fed survey shows 40% of adults still can't cover a $400 emergency expense.
There's no problems in this great country we live in.
Yeah, when
these two fucking old
when
fucks.
nearly half of your country can't handle $400 as an emergency expense, that's good.
Income inequality overrated.
Even with most Americans feeling more financially secure than they did 5 years ago, many are struggling to set aside any type of savings. About 40% of adults said that if faced with a $400 unexpected expense, they would either not be able to pay it or would do so by selling something or borrowing money, according to the Federal Reserve's report on economic well-being of U.S. households in 2017.
Wow.
So there you go.
There should be a fucking canary in the coal mine, dude. 40% of households can't deal with a $400 expense. I mean...
Dude, the fucking canary in the coal mine died a long time ago.
It's just dead.
Yeah, it's long dead. But I mean, we see all these indicators of the middle class struggling so mightily. All across Western Europe and the U.S. Look at Spain, look at Italy. And
Greece.
The Italy debt crisis is the next thing for the Eurozone they're facing. Over here, we have rising debt. We just cut income taxes, so our national debt's going to grow even faster. 40% of households can't even fucking cover a $400 emergency fund. So basically this means people are subsisting. They're living paycheck to paycheck.
Yep. The collapse is coming, folks.
It says here, too, 40% of non-retired adults think they are on track in saving for their golden years, and 25% have less than 40% of non-retired adults think they are on track in savings for their golden years, and 25% have no retirement savings or pension at all.
It's okay, because Social Security is just going to go fucking bankrupt, too.
Oh, yeah.
Don't count on that. That trust fund's going to go fucking dry.
You'll be fine.
Everyone's going to be okay. Politicians will keep just telling us everything's fine.
DPS says Bodycam clears trooper of sexual assault. Accuser's attorney apologizes. A woman accused a Texas DPS trooper for sexually assaulting her during a traffic stop, but after a review of the body cam footage, DPS says no wrongdoing was found.
Yeah, so the body cams that fucking people push for actually exonerated the police. But they're bad, right?
Maybe stories like this will convince these fucking police unions to get these cameras.
The Texas Department of Public Safety released dash cam video on a traffic stop that's gained national attention, debunking a woman's claims a trooper sexually assaulted her. But what I don't understand is women don't lie about sexual assault.
Never.
No.
It doesn't happen.
It should always be believed.
How come there's so many fucking examples of this thing that never happens? That's what I'm confused about.
Patriarchy.
Well, 3%, TJ. 3% are fake.
It seems like there's a lot more than 3% to me that are fucking fake. It seems like this is a common way when you're a woman and you hate a man or you want to fucking punish him.
You're a misogynist and your toxic masculinity is ruining this
I guess so, man. I don't know. This bitch here, she's the one that says she was sexually assaulted. Okay.
But
whatever.
guess what? She wasn't. And there's proof about the entire encounter that nothing happened to her.
See that provocative stuff she was wearing? She deserved
Look at what she was wearing. She deserved it. She deserved it, but she didn't even get it. So whatever. Fuck her. Here's the last story of the day. Adults were at a swing set until 6 and 12-year-olds with rocks and guns showed up.
Whoa.
What the fuck?
Damn, dude, can't even show
A
the park
handful of
anymore.
adults were at a park in Atlanta, Georgia on Sunday afternoon when two boys, a 6-year-old and a 12-year-old, came up and asked if they could use the swing, according to police. The adults told the two children they were welcome to the swing set and then started to walk away along the belt line in southwest Atlanta around 1:30 p.m., the adults told police. But that's when the two children pulled out their weapons, rocks the size of baseballs, and what appeared to be a black handgun, police said. The children lobbed the large rocks at the group of adults in Angel Park, striking two men and leaving one with an abrasion on his calf. The 12-year-old was holding the handgun and pointed at the group of adults, according to the police. The victim said they weren't sure if the firearm was real or fake. The adults, who were in their 30s, police told blah, 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 ran away from the scene while the two children fled in the opposite direction. Now police are investigating and looking for the two child suspects. The victim said the 12-year-old was wearing khaki shorts with an orange shirt wrapped around his head and the lower part of his face. They said the 6-year-old was wearing gym shorts. How do they know their ages if they haven't caught the fucking kids?
Yeah,
with
they're like,
dark
by
greenish...
the way, I'm 12.
With dark greenish blue shirt wrapped around his head and face, according to the injury. According to police, the injured victim declined medical treatment from first responders at the scene. Police have increased. Okay, so basically, like some crazy kids. Man, that's embarrassing.
Yeah,
I refuse medical treatment too. I'm not gonna fucking go to the hospital because of injuries inflicted by
Let
a
me get
fucking
this
couple of
straight.
kids.
A 6-year-old and a 12-year-old showed up with some rocks and a gun and chased you off.
Damn, dude.
Well, no, actually, we gave up the swing set so they could play on it. They still attacked us, though. I
Dude,
see.
nothing is sacred anymore, man. The 6-year-olds have turned against us. It's over, man.
Dude, let the fucking nukes fly, dude.
It's over.
let this land be cleansed, dude.
6-year-olds are trying to kill us now,
Let
man.
the lands be cleansed.
Raise
Like, what the
fucking
fuck?
lands, dude. Raise it all. Burn it all down. I want the nukes flying like a fucking caldera's all erupting. The ring of fire just becomes a true ring of fire. Lava just fucking flows across the lands. Wipe this fucking land clean and let the fucking earth heal and start over.
Wow. Scotty's on. Finally,
Be sure to check
I've
out
recruited another
our-
member of the Bring on the Nuke Society.
Be sure to check out our 12-hour show on Friday. Going to be from noon to midnight Central Time. All kinds of stuff. Be there, be square. It's going to be right on this channel.
Rumor
See you
has it
motherfuckers later.
There might be some deep, fat fried food.